What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Nerdy Mark channel. I'm Sid the Nerdy Mark, and today I have your Raw and SmackDown review. Now, before I start things off, I did want to say it's been about a week actually since I did a video, and feels good to be back on the camera again. It felt like I went on like an exodus, I did say I was going out of town, but unfortunately, actually, I didn't go out of town. Something came up and I couldn't go, but still, I just wanted to take some time off because I am working out some personal things in my life because I do have a life outside of YouTube. But I'm back. I'm here to review. I'm here. I have your Raw and SmackDown review. Well, actually, before we do get into it, I do want to say that I'm going to have my predictions for Fastlane a little bit earlier. Also, Black Panther this week. It's happening. Gear up, or fasten your seatbelts. Alright, so Raw begins with Kurt Angle. He comes out and he's basically not very happy about what happened last week when Triple H basically sucker punched Kurt Angle out of nowhere. He says, Triple H, I told you after Survivor Series, if you ever put your hands on me again, I am coming after you. Kurt Angle takes off his jacket and basically says, come at me, bro. He is then interrupted by Stephanie McMahon, who says Triple H is not here, and you know what? You have 4 children. Kurt Angle corrects her and says 5. No, Kurt Angle, I'm going to correct you. You have 6, okay? Jason Jordan is your son, too. It doesn't matter if he's injured. He's still your son, okay? Take some responsibility, damn it. Now, Stephanie McMahon says, you know what? Look, you're a very accomplished athlete. You've been WWE champion many times. You've earned all these titles. You won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck. But you know what? Stuff like that doesn't pay the bills. But being Raw general manager pays the bills. You need your job. So she tries to put him in his place. But she's interrupted by Ronda Rousey, who comes out and she says, first of all, I'm very honored to be here and whatnot. Stephanie's like, yeah, we made sure we gave you everything you wanted on your contract. Ronda Rousey says, speaking about that contract, I can have a Wrestlemania match, right? And Stephanie says, yes, you can challenge anyone as long as it's not a champion and as long as they're an active member of the Raw roster. Long story short, Ronda Rousey does challenge Stephanie McMahon to a match at WrestleMania. Triple H comes out. He interjects, so he was actually here as noted by Kurt Angle. So he's actually here, and he says that's not going to happen because Stephanie McMahon is an executive, so you can't challenge her. Kurt Angle says, hold on, Triple H. Yes, she's an executive, but she also has another contract as a WWE superstar. So this match is legal. Then after that, he says, but listen, she's not the only one who signed those 2 contracts. Triple H, you signed a contract as an authority figure and as a WWE superstar. And then Kurt Angle says, I make the matches even though Stephanie McMahon is the commissioner of Raw and he's the general manager, so I don't know who has more power here anymore. So Kurt Angle does say, look, it's going to be Stephanie and Triple H versus Ronda Rousey and myself, and it's going to be a mixed match challenge, the WrestleMania edition. Stephanie goes to slap Kurt. Ronda catches Stephanie's slap. Triple H tries to get involved. They have a huge back and forth. All four people have a back and forth. Triple H and Kurt Angle fight it out. Stephanie McMahon tries to get the upper hand on Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey is just looking like, girl did what? Stephanie McMahon powders out of the ring. Triple H, in the meanwhile, tries to hit the pedigree on Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle counters that into an ankle lock. Stephanie McMahon saves Triple H from Kurt Angle. She can't save herself because Ronda Rousey drags her back into the ring, hits her with a Samoan drop, and that's how the segment ends. So I'm actually really excited about this match now. I'm really looking forward to what they do at Mania. Like I said before, I wasn't really too keen on Ronda Rousey signing on to WWE. Not because I don't like her, but I just didn't really see the point. I just didn't really care, to be honest with you. But this has definitely brought some intrigue, so I'm excited for this. All right, up next we have our first match of the evening. That is Nia Jax versus Asuka, a rematch from Elimination Chamber. Nia Jax is still angry at Asuka because, of course, she cost her WrestleMania opportunity. Now, This was also a very good match, very competitive match, kind of like the one we saw at the Chamber pay-per-view. The match does end with Nia Jax trying to power out of the Asuka lock 3 times, but of course ultimately giving in. She taps, Asuka wins. Later on in the segment, we see Nia Jax icing her arm, and then her best friend Alexa Bliss comes out and basically just destroys her. She's just like, look, you're a freak. You're a lot bigger than all the other women. You're different. You're this, you're a failure. But you know what? I'm here for you. I'm your friend. So really playing up that heelish character of Alexa Bliss, and great heel work by Alexa. I love this segment as well as the match. The match was good. Nia Jax started crying, which I mean, obviously, if anyone said that to anybody, he would cry. But the thing is, Nia Jax has been booked as a monster, and monsters usually don't cry that much. So I'm a little bit interested in seeing where they're going. I mean, I definitely Nia Jax is turning face, and the rumored match is Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's title, and then Asuka's going to challenge Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's title. So that's going to be interesting to see how they get there. But I do think it would be better off if Nia somehow was involved in the match between Asuka and Alexa Bliss. But we'll see what happens. However, like I said, great match and a great segment. This happened later on, but I wanted to just lump these two together just because, concerns the same person. Up next, the Bar face off against the Revival, and if the Revival win, they get their shot at the Raw Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania. So Sheamus and Cesaro and the Revival do have a great match, but of course, Scott Dawson, I believe Scott Dawson takes a neutralizer, and 1, 2, 3, the Bar win the match. So that means these two have lost their opportunity, which kind of surprises me. I don't know what they're doing with the Revival at this point. What can you do with the Revival these days? I mean, I would put the titles on them, but I don't know what's going on. So, but I do want to relate one thing. Sheamus has been tweeting out a lot, saying that we are the most dominant tag team on Raw. Who else is out there? A lot of people have chimed in, teasing that, we're going to challenge for the Raw Tag Team titles, including the Young Bucks, who are, of course, busy promoting their own pay-per-view, All In. Young Bucks are saying, we're free that day. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's just a cheeky little rub. Same thing with the Dudley Boys, even though that seems a little bit more likely than Young Bucks. However, I don't think that's going to happen either. Paul Ellering came back again and tweeted at Sheamus. So, are we getting Authors of Pain versus Sheamus and Cesaro at WrestleMania? All right, next up, we had John Cena come out. Everyone was wondering what the hell is he doing on Raw. He won a match on SmackDown to be inserted into a SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view, which is, of course, Fastlane. He does come out and he does address that. He says that, I want to come to Raw and talk about it because I want to be uninterrupted. There's like 5 other guys who can interrupt me, and I don't want that. I want to get my, thoughts out. He basically says, I've got a match at Fastlane, and I'm going to win that match, and I'm going to become the 17-time WWE champion to many people's disapproval. And then John Cena does say, look, AJ, but you know what? You can reinvoke your rematch clause after that for Mania, and we can have a triple threat match at Mania between yourself, me, and Shinsuke Nakamura. Again, to a lot of people's disapproval, including myself. I really want to see the match at Wrestle Kingdom 10 happen at WrestleMania. That's the match I want to see. Nobody, including myself, wants to see John Cena inserted into that match. But this was a good promo. And then he's interrupted by Goldust, of all people. Goldust and John Cena, they're in the ring for the first time. Goldust cuts a very awkwardly cryptic promo. And then they have a match. This match mercifully ends very quickly, and that's that. Up next, we get Bayley versus Mandy Rose. Bayley's about to give an interview explaining her actions last week when she denied the tag to Sasha. And as she's about to do it, she's interrupted by Absolution. Mandy Rose comes out, and they have a really good match, which ultimately Bayley wins. It's a good match, just nothing to write home about. Nothing, significant happened in this match. Bayley wins, like I said, and then she gets beaten up by Absolution. Sasha comes in to save her best friend. Sasha wants to hug it out with Bayley. Bayley pushes her off and goes towards the back. Obviously, this is building to a match between the two at WrestleMania, so we'll see how this goes down. I don't know if they're doing heel Bayley versus face Sasha. I would rather have heel Sasha, but we'll see. Next up, we have a Symphony of Destruction match. That's right, we have a match where all the weapons are musical instruments. And Elias shows that he is super talented. He can play the piano, he can sing, he can play the guitar. He's a one-man band, even though that's Heath Slater's theme. Elias does cut a really good promo, and then he says, I want to do my entrance properly. So then, we hear the JoJo going, please welcome Elias. He doesn't show up. Instead, we see him backstage running towards his car, trying to start it up, but of course he is stopped by Braun Strowman, who chases him back into the ring and gives him a sound thrashing. Corey Graves makes a bunch of Megadeth references, which personally I didn't really get them because I'm sorry, but I don't listen to a lot of Megadeth. So if you can tell me what those are in the comments, that would be really cool. So this match was a good match. It was very entertaining. It was fun. It was like an episode of Tom and Jerry. I loved everything about this. Next up, we have Bray Wyatt versus Rhino. Bray Wyatt does dispose of Rhino in what is essentially a squash match and gets on the mic and calls out Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy then appears on the Titantron and challenges Bray Wyatt to one final match, hopefully, at the Hardy compound. But the promo was really good. We see a lot of members of House Hardy. We see Vanguard 1, and my personal favorite, Skarsgård, the dilapidated boat. This is awesome. I can't wait to see this. The promo packaging, I thought it was actually footage from Impact. According to a tweet from Rebby Hardy, she actually filmed that last Tuesday. That was pretty cool. The fact that it looks like it was taken from Impact, that's pretty good. But then again, Rebby Hardy did film those segments as well. But I am excited for this match. I think this is exactly what this feud needed, was the Hardy compound. According to reports, Jeff Hardy is looking to return at WrestleMania. He's been medically cleared. He's just waiting on clearance from WWE. But I think he should come to the Ultimate Deletion. I swear to God, if this is anything like the House of Horrors match, I will not be very happy. I will be very pissed off. It won't be fun for me or anybody else. But I do hope that WWE learned from their mistakes and they actually give us something good. Up next, the third annual Mizzies. Basically, the Miz's answer to the Oscars. He gives out Mizzies to Seth Rollins and Kurt Angle. Seth Rollins for the best self-patter on the back, and Kurt Angle for worst decision as general manager. That was pretty hilarious. And then he's about to give the award to himself, but he's interrupted by Seth Rollins and Finn Balor in succession. Miz is, of course, not happy about this, so he challenges Seth and Finn to a handicap tag team match. So Finn and Seth versus The Miz and The Miztourage. This is a really good match. I thought this was a fun match. It was pretty competitive. We see a little bit of tension between Seth and Finn. Seth Rollins is about to do a suicide dive. Finn tags himself in. He slaps Seth on the back, tagging himself in. They kind of argue for a little bit, but of course Finn does the suicide dive, comes back in. He's about to hit the coup de grace, but then Seth tags himself in, and Seth, of course, hits the curb stomp on Miz and wins the match for him and Balor. Then Kurt Angle comes out and he says, well, I got my match at WrestleMania. Now it's time for me to give you yours. And essentially, he books a triple threat match between Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, and The Miz for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. And finally, we have Paul Heyman coming out to address Roman Reigns and his comments on Brock Lesnar. Paul Heyman does come out and mentions that Roman Reigns, his biggest accomplishment was, defeating The Undertaker, putting The Undertaker down, which is received by a shower of boos. He goes as far as to calling the Universal title Brock's bitch. And then he said the Universal title is more precious than your family, Basically saying if something happened to your dad and you needed to go home, you can't go home because you have a match the next day at Mania. Really kind of awkward in a way, but you know what, Paul Heyman, because it's Paul Heyman, he just makes it work. Okay, Paul Heyman is a master at promos. I love Paul Heyman. But this prompts Roman Reigns to come out and he says, yeah, you know what? Brock is still a bitch because you know what? He still hasn't come out. Instead, he sent you to come out. And by the way, I do have to say, I loved Paul Heyman whenever Roman was on the mic. Paul Heyman had that Universal title, and he was like clutching it, like a little kid with a teddy bear. It's just like, mine. Roman Reigns does say, you know what? Brock Lesnar better be here next week, and he better not be dressed up for a promo. He better be dressed up for a fight. And that's how Raw ends. I think a great ending to Raw. Roman Reigns doing some pretty decent mic work. There's still room for improvement, but he's going the right direction. Honestly, I'm kind of interested to see Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. So SmackDown Live does begin with Ruby Riott and Charlotte. These two are going to be facing off each other at Fastlane for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Ruby Riott gets on the mic and she says she's coming there to destroy the myth that is Charlotte Flair. She's saying that, unlike you, I had to claw my way up. I saw you were, the NXT champion, the Divas champion, the Raw Women's champion, the SmackDown Live Women's champion, and I'm pretty disgusted that you have all these titles just because of your last name. Charlotte gets on the mic. She says the only thing that's a myth is that I got anything because of my last name. I worked my ass off and I got to where I am today. This, of course, prompts Ruby Riott to call in the Riott Squad into the ring. They're about to attack her, but then they're interrupted by Bobby Roode, Charlotte's tag team partner in the Mixed Match Challenge. And Charlotte looks really, really happy, looking like the damsel in distress in this whole situation, as if Bobby Roode is going to come and just beat up the Riott Squad, which he can't do. That was kind of weird how this segment ended. But of course, this had nothing to do with the women's segment. This was because Bobby Roode was going to do commentary for our first match of the evening, Jinder Mahal versus Randy Orton. So this is your go home angle for the women's division. Okay then. Then we get Jinder Mahal versus Randy Orton part, what is it, 5, I think? Part 4 or part 5? I don't know, man. Like, this match was just as painful as their previous encounters, whether it be on pay-per-view or on free TV. We do have a spot where Randy and Jinder are outside. Randy throws Jinder onto Bobby Roode. This later on, when both Jinder and Randy are in the ring, this prompts Bobby to distract Randy. Jinder Mahal takes advantage, hits Randy with the Colossus 1, 2, 3. Jinder Mahal wins. How much sense does that make? The person who is challenging for the United States title loses 5 days before. How much sense does that make? I don't get this at all. I am not understanding this United States title picture. I still don't like it. SmackDown, change it, please. So apparently, Carmella mocked Naomi and Becky Lynch on Twitter. So this prompted Becky Lynch to challenge Carmella to a match. And Carmella, she's still around. I'm surprised. Wow, you're still here. How's Big Cass doing? Is he doing good? We have a match between Carmella and Becky Lynch. Not a bad match. It's all right. I don't understand why this match was going on. I don't get it. I guess it's just because Carmella has been doing absolutely nothing these past few weeks, in ring at least. But we have to just remind everybody that, oh hey, look, she's got the briefcase. Oh, she can cash in at any time. Ooh, intrigue. No, not really. We then cut to a segment between Naomi and Natalia, who also we haven't seen in forever. Naomi and Natalia have a segment wherein basically Naomi challenges Natalia and Carmella to a match between herself and Becky Lynch, which Natalia accepts. So yeah, so we have a new match added onto the Fastlane card. So okay. And speaking of new matches onto the Fastlane card, we also then cut to a promo between Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev. Rusev is mad at Nakamura for hitting Aiden English in the throat last week, so that Aiden English lost his voice. He can't sing Rusev Day anymore, which is a travesty, which is very sad. Get well soon, Aiden English. We must hear your melodious voice sing Rusev Day once again, because I sure as hell am not going to do it. Rusev is angered by this, and he challenges Nakamura to a match at Fastlane, which Nakamura accepts, and says that Fastlane will be Nakamura Day. Honestly, I kind of saw this coming. I don't know about you guys, but I saw this coming. Rusev and Nakamura were going to fight at Fastlane. I just knew this was going to happen. I don't know why this is happening. I guess it's like a mini feud, something for him to do until WrestleMania. And on a quick side note, I just realized, so there is a rumor that after WrestleMania, all the pay-per-views are going to be dual branded. So this may be our last, brand exclusive pay-per-view that we get. I mean, I'm okay with that. Next up, AJ Styles gets in the ring and he basically responds to what John Cena said last night at Raw. He basically says exactly what we're thinking. He says, I don't want you in our main event. I just want Nakamura and myself. He just wants Shinsuke versus himself in the match, which is fine, which is what I agree with. He says it's what I want and it's what the people want. Dolph Ziggler interrupts and he says, that's what's wrong with you, AJ. You used to be phenomenal, but now you're just desperate. Those are the words he says. He says, you know what? You can care about these people all you want, but the second you fail, they will stab you in the back. That's why I don't care about the people anymore. AJ then says, you're talking a lot. We're supposed to have a match later on today. Why don't we have it right now? So they have that match. That match starts right now. So now we have Dolph Ziggler versus AJ Styles. And my goodness, this was an amazing match. They went off for about 10-15 minutes. But you know what? AJ Styles is a good wrestler. Dolph Ziggler is a good wrestler. They're both going to have a good match. AJ Styles is just a good wrestler, okay? AJ Styles could wrestle a bathrobe and it would still look good. AJ Styles can wrestle a wet noodle and it would still look good. AJ Styles could wrestle all these three highlighters in a 3-on-1 handicap match and it would still be amazing. AJ Styles can wrestle this empty can of seltzer water and it would still be amazing. This match is going on. It's going really well. There's a spot where, Dolph Ziggler tries to beat AJ with the Styles Clash. And then AJ, turns around and tries to convert it into a super kick. I thought that was really cool. I love that. But the match is, of course, interrupted by Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Earlier, Sami and Kevin had a really good segment, and wherein Sami reiterated that he would offer himself to Kevin Owens. So that is going to come in play a little later on. We have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn rush the ring and attack both Dolph Ziggler and AJ Styles. This, of course, ends the match in a no contest. This, of course, brings out Shane McMahon, who brings out Baron Corbin and makes it a fatal 5-way, which is basically the match we were supposed to get originally at Fastlane until John Cena was inserted and became a 6-pack challenge. So basically the match that we were supposed to get at Fastlane original. So this fatal 5-way match starts, and this is utter chaos. Everybody gets a big move in. Baron Corbin gets in good few deep sixes. Sami Zayn gets in a blue thunder bomb. Kevin Owens gets in super kicks, a cannonball. AJ Styles gets in a phenomenal forearm, I believe. If I remember correctly, yeah, he does get in a phenomenal forearm. Dolph Ziggler hitting zigzags on everybody and super kicks on everybody. This, like I said, was utter chaos, and this was a great match. And there was some really cool spots in here. But the one spot I do want to talk about, Sami Zayn is on the top turnbuckle. AJ and Dolph are about to hit a double powerbomb or suplex off the turnbuckle, and then they're of course caught by Baron Corbin and Kevin Owens. All five of them pretty much hit the powerbomb. Well, it's a powerbomb, sorry. Pretty much hit a powerbomb on Sami Zayn, so everybody takes the fall. It was fantastic. I can't say anything more about it. But then the match does end when Kevin and Sami are working together. They eliminate everybody out of the ring, so it's just Kevin and Sami. Then Sami Zayn turns on Kevin. He hits the haluva kick onto Kevin Owens, and he wins the match. Then, as he's walking towards the ramp, he cuts a promo saying, "I'm the best thing on WWE, and I've been undercut time after time. It's time for my comeuppance." That's how this match ends, and that's how SmackDown ends. So I thought that was a great way to end off SmackDown Live. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, that tension still building up, despite the fact that Sami said that he would lay down for Kevin Owens. I guess that's not going to happen. So we'll see. Overall, like I said, it was a good match. It was a great match, a very chaotic match. And of course, we had AJ Styles. I forgot to mention AJ Styles coming in and breaking up a bunch of pins, which is exactly what he needs to do at Fastlane. So that made a lot of sense. Overall, I did like Raw better this week, just because I'm a little bit more invested in those storylines a little bit more. For example, I'm really invested in what's going on with Ronda Rousey and her thing with Stephanie McMahon and Triple H and Kurt Angle. I think that the Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy feud has come to a interesting climax. We're going to get the conclusion, hopefully, at the Hardy compound in Wrestlemania for the Ultimate Deletion. I'm really excited for that. Everything that's going on with Nia Jax and her face turn, even though I didn't like the fact that she was crying, we'll see. I mean, it's just started. She's just beginning a face turn, so we'll see how this goes. Bayley and Sasha Banks, their tension building up, so I'm interested in that. And Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, I'm very interested in that. I'm actually looking forward to that match as well. As far as flaws go, I did not like everything going on with John Cena and Goldust. I just didn't like it. It was weird. The Raw tag team picture, for me, it's a little up in the air, so I don't know what they're going to do with them. In contrast to SmackDown, I will say their tag team picture is doing a lot better. I didn't mention this in the review, but they did have a hype package between the New Day and the Usos and their match. I like that hype package. I'm excited for that match at Fastlane. I'm liking everything they're doing with the WWE title picture with AJ Styles and and company. Not really digging what's going on with the SmackDown Women's Division. I don't know what's going on with that. It's just I'm just bored. I just want to fall asleep. And the United States title picture, it's beyond salvation at this point. So I'm just ready to get this over with and just move on. Those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys thought about Raw and SmackDown in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on social media and tell your friends about The Nerdy Mark. Until next time, this is Sid, The Nerdy Mark, signing off.